All right, hey VC, I'm Jamie. Welcome back. We're back with another video and back with some vinyl finds. So I've got a few left over from Record Store Day from the last one. Gosh, was that back in April? Seems so long ago now. And gosh, we're almost soon getting into Record Store Day, the second one for this year, coming up in June. Okay, so I've got a few left over from the last Record Store Day, some that came in late, and I've got some used vinyl to show you. So as you know, I'm a big fan of Rory Gallagher, and this is live in San Diego, 1974. So this one came in late. This was on my wish list, but yes, it did arrive. I've been so impressed with the reissues or sort of new issues for Rory Gallagher. These have just been terrific. So this is like the cover is, as you can see, it's got a nice gloss to it, nice, heavy-duty cardboard, heavy stock cardboard. And so this is a live recording, San Diego, 1974. As you can see, it is a gatefold and sleeves inside. It's not heavy-duty cardboard sleeves, but it's amazing now what is available for all of the reissues for the Rory Gallagher catalog. So just a nice black vinyl. And I saved the hype sticker. I just popped it inside one of the jackets here. Rory Gallagher, live in San Diego, 1974. Previously unreleased live recording featuring Messin' with the Kid, Hands Off, 180-gram heavyweight vinyl, mastered at Abbey Road for Record Store Day. And yeah, it's funny though. It doesn't quite feel like 180 gram. It feels a little bit more like 140, which, is fine. I'm not going to split hairs or anything, but it doesn't quite feel like 180, or at least 180-gram vinyl records that I've purchased in the past. But the sound is great, because I know usually, especially for live recordings, it's always curious what the sound is, and this is just a great recording. So really happy to pick this up. I'll just show you quickly the other sleeve there. And there we go, Rory Gallagher. But as I said, I've been really impressed with the reissue campaign for Rory Gallagher. This was a Record Store Day leftover suggested by Trevor at Sound Fixation. Was wondering if I was interested in picking this up. This wasn't necessarily on my radar, but I thought, okay, I'll pick it up. Dusty Springfield. This is the reissue of See All Her Faces. This is a stunningly beautiful album. I mean, Dusty Springfield. This album apparently was not released in the UK. I believe it was only released in North America. And there's a whole bunch of bonus tracks. So it was initially a single album, but then they've got the sort of 2 LP set. Stunningly beautiful, gorgeous orchestration, Dusty Springfield in fine form. This album came out in the early 70s. This is the 50th anniversary of this now 2 LP set featuring the original album plus a mini LP of bonus cuts from the period, remastered at Abbey Road Studios, enhanced artwork with added photos and archive material, heavyweight black vinyl. So here is the song listings here. An album I was not familiar with, certainly familiar with the artist, but if you are a Dusty Springfield fan, I would highly recommend this. This is just, and some of the bonus tracks on disc 2 are just beautiful. And interesting, this is not a gatefold, and I'm finding this a little bit more with either Record Store Day releases or double LPs, that they're not gatefold. Now, thankfully, it's at least giving you enough space for 2 LPs, but it is a really nice presentation for this. And this one, they have the really heavy-duty cardboard sleeves. And for that, I usually maybe just put a little sleeve inside just to protect it. Kind of the vintage Mercury label, but a really, really beautiful album. Yeah, really enjoyed this. Oh, okay, and one more. This one, also, I decided I don't have any of the Modern Lovers. So this is Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers. This is the 35th anniversary release for Record Store Day. The final studio album from Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers, featuring an all-analog mastering from the original tapes, and Modern Lovers 88. An artist who's, I don't really know a lot about, Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers. I love the sound. It's that kind of, I don't know, is quirky the right word, but he's an artist who, comes up occasionally. Hasn't released a lot of solo stuff over the years, but I do love the the colored vinyl on this. But I will have to explore the Modern Lovers for sure. So happy to pick that up. Okay, just a few used vinyl. How about Dixie Dregs and Dregs of the Earth? You forget, with this band, how good the musicianship is. I mean, this is just incredible. Of course, Steve Morris, who would later go on for Deep Purple, but my gosh, instrumental, largely instrumental band, but just fantastic. So good. The Fix, some 80s classic stuff here. Reach the Beach. I'm kind of a sucker for the Fix. I mean, one thing leads to another. I think it's just a great track. Saved by Zero. I'm assuming this was a slightly later pressing because they've included the hit songs there, and I don't remember that on the original. But nice to have a copy of that for sure. The Best of the Birds Volume 2. This is Greatest Hits Volume 2, and as you can see, this is the latter half of the Birds. No David Crosby or anything like that. But now it's interesting for the Greatest Hits Volume 1. That's where all the hits were. But if you are a Birds fan, you have the Greatest Hits Volume 1. Greatest Hits Volume 2 is a really nice continuation. This gets much more into the sort of country rock thing that they were doing. And featuring also tracks from Sweethearts of the Rodeo, but I really enjoyed listening to this, the latter half of the Birds, which sometimes, I don't want to say gets forgotten about, but it tends to be all the focus on the psych stuff with the Birds or the early hits, but boy, they had just some great material. Tower of Power, really happy to pick this up, and I picked this one up for just $5. This, of course, has the track So Very Hard to Go. So Very Hard to Go. There you go. So very hard to say, apparently. And Tower of Power, and in really nice shape, and just great soul funk stuff. Was really surprised to come across this at a very reasonable price. Savoy Brown and Raw Sienna. This is just, I don't have much Savoy Brown in my collection, and really fantastic. Just so good. Great blues rock at its finest. Such a great band, Savoy Brown. And another band that I've really come to love is Brownsville Station, and this is their album Yeah, and this does feature the hit Smokin' in the Boys' Room, which is interesting. It's the final track. I mean, their biggest song, but they had it as the final track on their album. This band rocked, and they had that kind of glitter rock kind of mix in. I mean, from Michigan. Great band from start to finish, and really like picking this anything I can find. They do a cover of Barefootin' on here, and also a cover of Sweet Jane as well, so worth seeking out. And you get Smokin' in the Boys' Room to wrap it up. Okay, also a fan of Richie Havens. This is the album Stonehenge, although I'm not a huge fan of this album. I wasn't familiar with it. It's quite orchestrated. There's nothing that really kind of grabs you, especially when Richie Havens had just one of the most incredible voices. I found this album a little bit of a disappointment. He does a cover of the Bee Gees song I Started a Joke, Stonehenge, and Richie Havens album. Okay. Was happy to come across the Blues Brothers and Made in America. So this was, I think, their final album with John Belushi, and this one came out after the soundtrack, and I think they were touring for the movie. And so this is another live recording, and Paul Schaefer back with the group, because Paul Schaefer surprisingly wasn't available for the movie, but he's back with the band. And of course, when you got Matt Guitar Murphy, I mean, oh my gosh, Blue Lou Marini, so many great artists on here, including, so there's Blue Lou Marini, and Tom Malone is on here. Oh my gosh, just what a lineup. And sounding great. And they do a cover of Green Onions on here, of course, with Steve Cropper as part of this, along with Donald Duck Dunn. I mean, this was an amazing band assembled for this, for sure. And yeah, happy to pick that one up. Canadian band, fairly obscure. The cover not in the best of condition, but this is Steel River and A Better Road, and was really happy to come across this one because I remember their hits back in the 70s. They had a nice kind of rockin' sound. Their big hit from this one was the song Southbound Train. Was featured on this, and they had a few hits like 10-Pound Note. Just a nice kind of good rockin' Canadian band from the 70s. And this on the fairly obscure, is it Yo Tuesday label? Is that yeah, that's the label, Yo Tuesday. So a fairly obscure label, but distributed by Quality Records, which you know, at the time, certainly for either imports or for a lot of distribution, they went through Quality Records in Canada. But yeah, was very happy to pick this one up because I don't come across many. They didn't have too many records out, but Steel River and A Better Road. Certainly wish it was in better condition for the jacket, but that's okay. And maybe just one more. This was a very unique find. This is a Capitol compilation, The New Spirit of Capitol, and it looks very psychedelic, but this is an early 70s release, and very much like the Warner Lost Leader ones. But check out the tracks featured on this one, and it does have Pink Floyd's Astronomy Domini, but this is the live version from Umaguma. But pretty nice, you know, Steve Miller Band. You got Joe South, Linda Ronstadt, Grand Funk Railroad, Bob Seger System. Pretty happy to pick this up, and the cover in very nice condition, and the record in very nice condition too. Because sometimes I don't know, you know, either best ofs or compilations in people's collections tend to get pretty battered. But this on the classic Capitol label. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thanks so much for dropping by. Hope everybody's doing okay, and we'll chat again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.